I'm grateful to have grown up in a toxic household, and I'm gonna tell you why. A lot of you might hear that and say, well, didn't you feel sad, angry, alone, or even depressed? Of course I did. Of course that was part of the consequences that happened throughout my childhood. Was that I developed all that and more bad habits too. I would run away from my problems. I would hide. I would not talk out anything with anyone. But I also try not to focus on the negative as much anymore. And another thing too, I try not to shift the blame to my parents or to the way I was raised anymore either. Wanna know why? Because a lot of people get that wrong. When they shift the blame to the people that did them wrong or the past experiences or whatever it may be, you shift the blame onto somebody else, you lose the power to change. You lose the power to change yourself today. You lose the willpower to pick yourself up. Now, I'm not gonna say that whatever those people did to you was justified. No, nothing like that should ever be justified. But what you shouldn't do is hold that within you. Forgive them. And I'll get into it later in this video on how and why you should forgive them. But hear me out real quick. You have the right to tell yourself that it was because of your past, because of the way you were raised, because of whatever it is, that you're here today, that you can't improve, that you can't do something. You're completely right. But in the way that you're right about that, you're also right in the fact that you can tell yourself that no matter what happened to me in the past, no matter what traumatic experiences I've been through, all of that has led me to today. I can take the little bit of good that I got from that and keep going and keep improving. The changes in mindset between those two are dramatically different. Because in one of them, you're completely giving power to something else that's out of your control. And in another one, you're taking back the power to change your life, to change your future, and healing from it. In the beginning, I said I was grateful to have grown up in a toxic household. Yes, I was beaten. Yes, I was told I would never amount to anything. Yes, I always felt alone. I always felt like I could never do anything right. I always felt like I was a disappointment. You may wonder, how could I be grateful for that? It's because I tend to not focus on the completely negative anymore. What I do focus on is what I took away from that. Because when I'm a kid, I don't know what to think about what my parents are telling to me. I just know what they're telling to me, and I take it as fact. I don't look into it any deeper. I just think what I think. And as a kid, that can be very dangerous, but now I know. I just act on my emotions. I don't know what I'm thinking. What I do know is that now that I've developed enough of a consciousness to reflect on my past, to reflect on why things happen a certain way, I can look back differently. I reflected and I realized I could do one of two things. I can continue to put the blame on my past, or I can take back the control and say my past happened for a reason and it's time for a change. I may not be happy with what happened, but I'm grateful because I learned from it. I'll take away the good from it, and I'll be able to help other people that are struggling with the same thing. It's hard to change your habits because we form them all when we're a kid. The way you solve your problems and your situations when you're a kid is how most likely you solve them today. And I would always hide away from my parents. I would always lock myself in a room. I would always be quiet. And that's why I had trouble solving problems. Now I want to fix that. And how do I fix that? By putting myself out there more, by seeking the answers more, by asking for help, putting my voice out there. Things that I could never imagine me doing. But now I can because I reflected on it. I forgave my parents for what they did and how they raised me. I also learned what not to do. What not to do when I have my own family. How not to treat my children. You also pick up on the bad habits that your parents did. For example, my dad was a hardcore alcoholic. And I saw how angry he could get when he was drunk. But he would be a lot more calm when he was sober. And I realized that shit, you know what? I don't want to be a hardcore alcoholic. Because I don't want to get angry and lash out at my family like my dad does. That's why I never picked up that habit. Some people might say, well, my dad drinks, well, I'm going to drink too. And guess what? You're going to reap the same consequences that your dad did. That's what I'm saying. You can either put the power in their hands or your hands. I could have easily said that, you know what? My dad drinks, so might as well me drink, right? I can drink too. It runs in the family. Yeah, it runs in the family. But look what it does to the family. That's what I mean. You pick up all those negative things, you reflect on it, you realize why things happen a certain way. And let me establish something real quick. No, I'm not trying to get any sympathy off of any of you. Because I've already healed from it. I'm already content with why things happened the way they did. I'm just here to share my story. And another thing that really opened my eyes was the fact that I was talking to my father the other day about this very topic, how I grew up and how the words that he told me hurt me. And I'm grateful to God that I have an amazing father and he was able to apologize to me. And I know a lot of parents, I've seen parents that won't even apologize to their children when they've done wrong. So I'm extremely grateful for that. But even if I did not get an apology, I would still forgive him. Not because he deserves it if he didn't apologize, but it's because I deserve to move on. I deserve to heal. I deserve to improve my life, to not let the chain of my past hold me down. And so do you. Forgive them. Even if they never asked for forgiveness, forgive them, brother. Because you deserve peace. My father asked for forgiveness, but I had already forgiven him by the time that he did. Point is, though, he talked to me about how he grew up. And this just gave me even more reason for me to forgive him. He talked to me about how when he was a kid, he saw his dad, my grandfather, how worse he would get than my dad when he was drunk. He would beat everybody in the household for no reason. And he told himself as a kid, I'm never going to be an alcoholic. And he even told my grandfather, who would encourage my father to drink, he told him, I don't want to drink. Yet my grandfather grabbed and told him, one day you're going to drink. Just you watch. When you get around the right people, they're going to invite you to drink and you're going to drink. And guess what happened? My dad came here to the US when he was 17. He got around the wrong people. Why? Because he had nobody else here. He was living in a single family apartment in New York with 10 other people sharing one room. And what were they all doing? They were all drinking. They were all partying. They were all doing drugs and shit. That's the only place he knows to stay or call home at the time. So of course he's going to tag along. And that's exactly what happens. That just opened my eyes and made me realize that I don't think my dad ever as a kid thought, you know what, when I'm older, I'm going to get drunk and beat the fuck out of my wife and children. You know what, I'm going to cause so many traumatic events. You know what, I'm going to hurt my kids with my words. My dad never thought of that. At least I don't think so. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But the way that my dad is, I can say with full confidence that he did not. But life just happened. Life happened a certain way, right? And my dad never had the internet or maybe a good role model beside him to guide him, to tell him how to control his emotions, how to let them out in a healthy way, how to control his anger, how to not let other people control or influence him on things that are not good for him. He didn't have social media or the internet to help him to seek out that information that maybe he wanted to find, but he couldn't. But we do. That's why I make videos like this, because I want to put positive information out there to help you, to grow you, and also to realize that maybe your parents, if they're anything like mine, immigrants that came from another country, they left everything when they were young. They left everything they knew to a country where they couldn't even speak the language, and they did it all for you. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that justifies everything that they did to you, right and wrong. No, of course not. That will never justify that. Nothing will ever justify that. But I just want you to think about it from their perspective. Nobody taught them how to start a family, how to take care of a child, how to balance jobs with children, how to be there for your child. Because their parents probably never even taught them that. They just are raising us by what they know. And their information was very limited, especially like mine when they barely graduated the 6th grade. So how would they ever know? So that's why I don't blame my parents that much anymore. Because I understand now the things that they went through. Like I said before, that does not justify what they've done. But I forgive them. Even before my dad even asked me for forgiveness, I already had forgiven him. Because I realized when your past holds you, it won't let go unless you let it go. You yourself within yourself have to let it go, have to be okay with that, have to take away the positives when you're at the most darkest place you've ever been. Only God knows why things happened the way they did. Only God knows why you're watching this video right now. Only God knows what will happen from here on out. But one thing I will tell you is that I will always be grateful for the way I grew up, because it made me the man I am today. It taught me lessons that I'm going to take away with me for the rest of my life, that I'm going to talk about to my grandchildren until the day I die. Be grateful for everything you've been through, good and bad. Everything has fertilized you to the person that you are. I'm going to make another video about how to fully forgive your parents and fully move on from traumatic experiences. So one thing I will tell you right now is to ask God for help. Because that's what I did. God helped me. And only through him was I able to forgive my parents. Was I able to move on from these traumatic experiences. Was I able to try something new, this YouTube channel. I never imagined me talking to a camera right now. But God gave me that courage. Even though I don't know what I'm doing, I'm figuring it out along the way with God by my side. Ask God to help you find forgiveness in those who have wronged you, even if they don't ask for forgiveness. And trust me, you'll do better in life. Forgive your parents even if they didn't ask for forgiveness. Because you deserve peace. You deserve to move forward. You deserve to feel better, to be better. So don't let your past hold you down, brother. Keep working hard. I'm proud of you. Be glad of everything that you've been through, and you will succeed. Just keep your head up. Ask God for courage. Ask God for wisdom. Ask God for the ability to keep moving forward when it gets tough. Because it will get tough. That's the way life is. But if we're close with God, if we're close with good people around us, the journey will get much easier. I love you all. God bless you all. And I'll see you soon.